Hey, church family. I've been thinking about the importance of persistence. When you think you've experienced more challenges than you can handle, and that your failures are crying out for you to quit, consider this man. In 1816, his family was forced out of their home, and he had to go to work to support them. In 1818, his mother died. In 1831, he failed in business. In 1832, he ran for the state legislature and lost. In 1832, he lost his job, wanted to go to law school, but couldn't get in. In 1833, he borrowed some money from a friend to begin a business, and by the end of the year, he was bankrupt. He spent the next 17 years of his life paying off that debt. In 1834, he ran for the state legislature again and won. In 1835, he was engaged to be married, and then his sweetheart died, and his heart was broken. In 1836, he had a total nervous breakdown and was in bed for 6 months. In 1838, he sought to become Speaker of the state legislature and was defeated. In 1840, he sought to become elector and was defeated. In 1843, he ran for Congress and lost. In 1846, he ran for Congress again. This time he won. In 1848, he ran for re-election to Congress and lost. In 1849, he sought the job of land officer in his home state. He was rejected. In 1854, he ran for Senate of the United States and lost. In 1856, he sought the vice presidential nomination at his party's national convention and got less than 100 votes. In 1858, he ran for U.S. Senate again, and again he lost. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was nominated by the Republican National Convention as his party's candidate for President of the United States. He won, and the rest is history. Lincoln, who was born into poverty and suffered more defeats than victories in his life, is one of the greatest secular examples of persistence, perseverance, and dogged determination. Another example is the Apostle Paul. If you know Paul's story, then you know that when he first came to Christ as Saul of Tarsus and was converted and became the Apostle Paul, he was not initially well received by the brethren whom he persecuted. Paul was beaten. He was stoned. He was imprisoned for preaching Christ. 4 times he encountered shipwrecks. False teachers unfairly brought unfounded accusations against him. He endured a physical malady that he called a thorn in the flesh, and he bore the sting of rejection by some who left him. Yet in one of the great and encouraging verses of the Bible, Paul writes, "We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed." God's grace was sufficient for Paul. What problem are you facing right now? What pain are you suffering? What hurt are you feeling? Have defeats become more common than victories? And have you felt like quitting? Don't despair. Both secular and sacred history is filled with encouraging stories of triumph over trial, of strength overcoming weakness, of conquest instead of surrender, of accomplishment over obstacles. In good times and bad, in prosperity and adversity, success and failure, we can learn some valuable life lessons from great statesmen like Lincoln. However, as Christians, let's fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, and take to heart the words of the Apostle Paul, who wrote, "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." Amen.